under Uniform Commercial Code 440.2511 by tender of payment 2 and 3.
It's not applicable to this case.
And could you tell me why, Your Honor?
Because the UCC doesn't apply to this circumstance. Sir?
Yes.
I'm asking a very simple question.
This sovereign citizen squatter just got completely embarrassed in Judge Simpson's courtroom. Judge Simpson is all business in this one and really shows this guy that you can't just make up your own currency and expect it to count as rent. Like, bro, the law is clear, only legal tender counts for paying debts, and your fake cashies check with Korean numbers. That's not going to work. Let me know in the comments if you think squatter laws should be tougher or if we should give squatters more rights. I know there are always some pretty wild opinions in the comments, so feel free to share your thoughts. But for now, let's dive in and watch Judge Simpson school this sovereign citizen squatter live in court.
Good afternoon.
How you doing, Your Honor?
What's your name, sir? What is the claim in this case?
Judge, this is a non-payment of rent action with a money judgment being requested as well. I'm showing that rent is due in the amount of $1,588, court costs of $217 for a total rent retained of $1,805.
And sir,
Yes.
how do you intend upon paying this?
So, Your Honor, I actually tendered payment to Group 5 Management on November 3rd. And my form of payment was refused.
Was what?
My form of payment, she refused payment.
What was your form of payment?
A cashier's check. I actually have the voided check here. And I'm asking for
You had a
yes.
cashier's check? Let me see.
If this is also the refusal in the email from the landlord. All right.
Danny, do you know anything about the refusal of payment?
I do not, Judge. Obviously, I'm standing in for Mr. Weiss. I believe my client or the client was supposed to be on. My understanding was that it wasn't a cashier's check. It was a counter or a check. And the reason it would have been refused was because he's had more than 3 checks come back as insufficient funds. But I would ask if I don't see if he's on here, Judge.
From Randolph Court or Group 5 on the Zoom? We don't have anybody checked in.
We don't.
Email.
Judge.
Hang on, Ms. Zane. He has an email saying about the refusal. Well, it's a text message screenshot.
Yes, it's a email. I actually screenshotted it.
And it says,
if you enjoy content like this, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Let's get back to the video.
From a somebody with the last name of Aslam, ASLAM, indicating that they received a rent check in the sum of $1,238, which the check that he showed me was in the form of an over-the-counter check. However, must be certified funds. And then, second page, as the system will not accept this, maybe. But
yeah, Judge, my notes on the ledger show counter check, which is a check that's not. It's one of the ones they give you from the bank, and so again, that's the decision I was taking, anyways. It was refused.
So, sir,
yes.
Is there a reason why you can't get certified funds to the landlord?
Well, they actually accepted December's rent from the same check, Your Honor, from my bank.
Okay, but if
well, because it costs, and my defense is that under Uniform Commercial Code 440.2511 by tender of payment 2 and 3,
it's not applicable to this case.
And could you tell me why, Your Honor?
Because the UCC doesn't apply to this circumstance.
I'm sorry?
The UCC doesn't apply to this circumstance.
It's a commercial transaction, Your Honor.
UCC does not apply.
Okay. So where could I find this at that says that this isn't a commercial transaction?
That would be your assertion. I'm telling you it doesn't apply to this.
Just for my understanding that the Uniform Commercial Code governs all commercial transactions in commerce. And so based off of this law, tender of payment is why my defense is that once the tender of payment was refused, at that time, the charge or the total amount was discharged.
Even if you were to do that analysis, you can't then have unjust enrichment, which means that you want to move.
I'm sorry.
You can't have unjust enrichment, so you'd have to move because you can't have the apartment and not pay.
No, I mean, I paid the rent. They took the exact form of payment in December.
I get it. Not being able to afford rent really sucks. We've all been there at some point, right? I don't know if you guys can relate, but I've definitely had those moments where I'm eating cereal with a fork to save the milk. Things get tough sometimes. But let's be real here. I'm not going to show up to my landlord with a fake cashier's check and act like I just handed over the ultimate rent payment. Like, dude, you really think you can just Jedi mind trick your way out of eviction? These sovereign citizens will do anything to avoid taking responsibility. I've said before. I think it has a lot to do with parenting and also the internet. People get caught up in these small, crazy groups where they just start believing ridiculous stuff. But seriously, Michigan seems to have a special place in all of this. What is going on with that state? Every week, it's like a new episode of How to Get Arrested with Confidence. People in Michigan will straight up argue with judges using Google screenshots and random vibes. One guy even tried to pay with Monopoly money and was shocked when it didn't work. At this point, Michigan should probably start charging admission for these courtroom shows.
Sir, are you going to tender a check or no? Or certified funds to them?
I'll tender payment.
Are you going to tender certified funds for the 1805?
So, Your Honor, my rent is $1,238, and just the extra $700, $600. I'm not sure where it's coming from, but if they accepted the rent payment and from my bank in December, I don't know why they wouldn't accept it now. They refused November, and then they accepted December.
Sir?
Yes.
I'm asking a very simple question.
Yeah.
Are you going to tender certified funds to them in the amount of 1805?
I will surrender. I will submit funds.
Certified funds to them.
I plan to. It costs me to do certified, so I would.
As does the NSF transactions that they've had in the past. So that is my question to you. Are you going to submit certified funds
I'll submit certified funds.
in the amount of 1805?
I like to debate that amount because I'm not sure where that amount's coming from. My rent is $1,238. In court costs, I'm not sure where the other $600.
All right, here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Defendant to submit $1,238, which at this point is the undisputed amount in certified funds to the landlord no later than December 29, 2023. And then we will look at the disputed amounts. I will adjourn this matter to January 5th, 2024 at 2 p.m. And I would just note to you, Mr. Smith, that if those funds aren't in, I'm not hearing any additional argument. I will be granting a judgment, which will be for their full amount, plus what will at that point be January's rent.
Your Honor, also, the 4th I have to work. So every time that I'm coming here, I'm having to take off of work. And
Sir, I cannot help that.
I mean, is there a way that we can set a different date?
That is my next date.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I bet the next time we see this guy, he's going to show up in court all confused, saying, "But Your Honor, I gave them a piece of paper with $1,200 on it." Like, come on, that's not how money works. This guy seriously thinks he can just write his own money and expect people to go along with it, like it's some group project. The court doesn't care if you wrote it in fancy cursive with glitter pens. A fake check is still a fake check under US law. Specifically, under 18 US Code 514, passing a fake financial document is a federal crime. And trust me, it's not just a small punishment, it's more like welcome to your orange jumpsuit and free meals. But seriously, if anyone in Michigan knows, let me know. Do you guys have some kind of factory making people who think they're sovereign citizens? It seems like every viral courtroom meltdown starts with "I don't consent," or ends with "you have no power over me," and it's always happening in Michigan. I'm just curious. Anyway, that's it for today's court hearing. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think Judge Simpson was fair or not? Thanks so much for watching, I really appreciate it. Take care, everyone.